We're Nathan and Cydil Waggoner, and we have two kids, Ellie, who is 14, and our son Rennie, who is 10. And we serve in central Albania in a little village here. And we are doing a church plant to other different discipleship.
We actually live above a community center, and so we have kids over here almost every day of the week for recreation.
Or we did before COVID.
Yeah. Now that things have changed, like you mentioned, do you think it's pretty valuable knowing the relationships, knowing the people around you and knowing their needs and what they're going through and who they are, as far as trying to connect and help people?
For sure.
Absolutely, especially as there's such a big economic piece to this crisis. It's good to know what families are in jobs that haven't been, that are considered essential, and those that are not. A lot of people in our village, one of the spouses will work in agricultural work, which will take them to Greece or to Italy for 3 months at a time. Others work in factories, and those have been required to shut down just because there's so many people working in an enclosed space.
It has been hard to survey them or actually get out and contact them because so much of it is face-to-face, walking up and down the street, seeing each other out, and we're not allowed to do that right now.
But word gets around.
Word gets around. I was going to say we're relying a lot more on word of mouth for that, and that we have had some people call us directly and just say, we just are almost out of food. Is there anything you can do? And so even though we can't physically leave, there are ways to help, and we've been able to do that.
That's great. That's great to hear that people recognize you as someone they can reach out to when they need help. That's really cool.
We just walked through an earthquake 5 months ago that was the deadliest earthquake in 2019 in the world. And so it's put us in a different kind of position, but one which we're grateful because our particular community doesn't have any municipality buildings. So all of the aid to our village flowed through the church. So folks know that, and through that disaster, we were able to forge some connections, like with the Albania Food Bank. And so one of our colleagues on our team who's Albanian got permission to drive through this pandemic, and he has been able to bring food from the food bank out.
Wow, that's really cool.
Well, first of all, our healthcare system in Albania is really weak, and it's been weakened by the fact that we've seen a large exodus of doctors and nurses leave as their Albanian licenses are starting to be recognized in other parts of Europe, and so they've left for better salaries. And then the second factor that really played into why our restrictions have been so intense is the fact that we have a lot of Albanians who have immigrated to Italy. And I think they said between January 1st and March 1st, over 100,000 people have come from Northern Italy into Albania. And so there was a lot of concern with Northern Italy being a hotspot for COVID that that is how it would come into our country if it came in.
So due to that, the clampdown was swift, and it has been pretty intense. Maybe not China intense, but pretty close. We are not able to leave our house without permission from the police. We have to text 24 hours in advance, and then ask for permission at a certain time of the day, and then that permission is only good. It was only good for an hour. They've bumped it up to now it's a 2-hour window. Only one person in the family. So, to put it a little bit in perspective, our kids had gone about 46.
No. It was 54 days for Ellie before she was legally allowed to leave the house.
Yeah.
Wow.
So on Saturday and Sunday of this week was the first time we were allowed to go outside there was a 4-hour window where parents and children under age 14 were allowed to just go outside. And of course it rained. It was a nasty day, but you know what? We went outside anyway, and we didn't walk very far. We stayed in our little village, but we walked down the hill a little bit, walked around slightly, and then came back. And it was funny. Our daughter, she did the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind as she was stepping out of the gate. And,
That's fantastic.
yeah, so it has felt a little bit isolated that way.
I wondered if you could share some ways that people could either donate or pray in order to best support you guys in Albania.
Yeah, sure. I think one of the things that we've appreciated is that during this time of quarantine, we've had a little extra time to do some of these projects and things that we were wanting to do, we saw as important. But because our schedule is so segmented, we weren't able to really sit down and do that. And
devote large blocks of time.
And one of those was like translating the TV series The Chosen into Albanian, and being able to get that just in the last 24 hours. We have released the trailer in Albanian subtitles announcing that it's available to watch in Albanian. That is something that's been really fun for us to see our neighbors start to see the stories of Jesus in their own language. And it's through people who are supporting.
And especially now during Ramadan too, when a lot of people are fasting and seeking to know God better.
Yeah.
And we pray that He might reveal Himself to them through form of media.
We live in a ministry center as it is, but it was a converted village house, and it really we've outgrown it. We outgrew it several years ago, honestly, but so this is a more appropriate ministry center. It also will have a soccer field attached that we pray will bring especially young men who are a little bit harder to reach in this community,
and be a viable business. Will help the ministries become less dependent on funds from overseas to operate, allow the church to become more financially independent.
Yeah, we were on target for all of this to happen this year. We were so excited, as I know a lot of people were excited to see what 2020 had in store. And 2020 has been one of those interesting years, and the Men with Vision project has had to be postponed, and it's a challenge right now. And so that would be another area that people could give and support to the Albania soccer field project.
But you want to explain what else is going to be happening in that center?
Yeah, the Valdetta Trust is a new ministry that we will be partnering with and coming alongside, and it's a school for young people in wheelchairs mainly, that are, because of their mobility, have not been able to go to school. And so that is going to be coming into this ministry center when we get it finished and built. And so that is another avenue of support, and we're really excited about how it is expanding our ministry. A lot of the details of this, a lot of the groundwork, legwork has been happening during quarantine over Zoom with people, with the founders in UK, with Tiffany, our colleague who's in Toronto, and we're not physically able to be together, but even during this time, we've had time to really work on that.
Well, thank you for sharing those opportunities with supporters. At the description in this video, I will include links of how people can donate and be part of these projects, and also how they can be praying. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with us a little bit about what's going on there. And God bless your ministry. It sounds, there's so many cool things God's doing, and it sounds like He's going beyond what you guys had dreamed of.
He is. Only God can isolate us and then expand his kingdom.